Hello guys, welcome everybody to Mando Monday. This is the series where you guys ask the questions and I of course answer them. This could be to do with anything related to Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, CSGO investing, or any current or future update related one. If that's Source 2, in operation, or as of recently, that being the meta change and Dust 2 being removed. If you guys have a question for next week's video that you guys want answered or featured on the video, make sure to leave down below this video or anyone to be exact, ask Mando, and then ask your question. It's usually easiest and best for me to find it that way. Quickly, I just want to say thank you for all the support recently on my videos. Just the other day with the meta change, my video absolutely blew up out of nowhere. It was really cool to see that. I haven't had that happen in a very long time. And welcome to the 200 new people that joined the channel because of that video. And for this week, there's actually some very juicy and interesting questions as always that are a little bit different, swaying away from just the casual or when's the operation coming and anything related to Source 2. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the like button and of course subscribe. And here's a quick word from our video sponsor, Skins Monkey.
Now today's video sponsor is of course Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is currently the easiest and also fastest way you can buy, but most importantly trade your CSGO skins. All you have to do is make sure you have your trade link, and on your first trade, if you have a leftover balance, it goes towards your current balance that can be used the next time you end up trading skins. It has 3 ways you can inspect, but most importantly has a very in-depth inspect feature that you can see corners on a karambit for an example that you can't really see otherwise unless you have the item in game. If you end up topping up your balance, make sure to use promo code MANDO to get up to a 35% deposit bonus and a free $5 on the first trade.
Our very first question up here is from Juggernaut2680, and what he's asking here is, with Dust 2 being removed and now Anubis in, because that collection's gone, obviously the souvenir packages you will no longer be able to get after Rio, will the base version, so non-souvenir, go up in price, and have they gone up in price recently? So I actually have a market update coming in the next couple of days with some of these skins and specifically talking about the price increases on souvenir and non. The non-souvenirs, for example, the Death Strike, I picked one of these up not that long ago for under $114. They skyrocketed on a place like Buff to $250 very shortly after it got removed. This could have been because these got removed, but also on top of that, they're used for trade-ups to get that gold arabesque. And maybe some people with the op nerf, people thought the scout was going to be played with a little more. But this is leveled out at 230 bucks. It's pretty good, pretty solid. And I still think it's going to be a great investment, but I think you've really missed that initial hype, obviously. And if you were going to go into something like this, you would have and should have done it 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we are seeing rises on stuff like this. And not just this exactly. Mac 10 case hardened, $19. Now it's $30. The red DD pad for the M4A4. Sure, the M4A4 nerf probably helped this a little bit, but this one from 17 to 26. The gold arabesque went from 2,500 to 6,500 very quickly at the snap of a finger because of that update, and it's still relatively the same. Our next question up here is from Scythe X Sins. I think that's your name. I think I actually pronounced it right, but I don't know. What are the best looking unique signatures of all time? So I believe Jesus actually has a video on this from like 3 years ago that I remember watching very vividly. So for me, I have a couple stickers that I really enjoy. The number one is probably the most obvious, this being the Lucas Gold from 2017. I actually had one of these back in 2017, but obviously these are pretty much non-existent nowadays. They're very hard to get, very low quantity. But obviously that's my name. I think the coolest one out there of all time that I still enjoy the most is the Kashander Gold from Krakow 2017. Obviously we have the Vinny Gold that looks somewhat similar and people compare it to all of the time, but I still think it's probably one of the best looking ones. And something that's insanely cheap that I think is just underestimated, underlooked, is the Deviced Boston 2018 sticker. This being the foil, the paper, whatever version you want, I think it looks really clean. I love the fact that there's like an M9 bayonet in his signature. I think it's just the most unique, but it's so like subtle. What's your favorite signature of all time? Maybe next time we can get a favorite sticker question. I'm not sure. Our next question up here is from Huffy, and he says, invest in the glove and breakout cases now? Question mark. I'm assuming because they have dropped in price. So this is something not a lot of people have looked at. I think it's worth you looking into it, and we will right now. Now, the reason people haven't really looked into these, obviously because of Rio, the meta change, everyone's focused on the Rio Major, the souvenir packages still, crafting with stickers. That's just been more popular overall this month, I would say, than opening cases. That's maybe caused these cases to go down a little bit, possibly. The glove case hasn't gone down too much, but enough that maybe you could buy into them and probably hold on for a little while. These have gone from $3.20-ish to $2.91. Quantity stayed relatively the exact same. Next up is the breakout case. Quantity stayed the exact same, but dropped from around $4 to $3.69. People also might be selling a little bit of their investments right now because they've maybe made so much profit this past year. I know I have myself the past little while. I've been selling off some things here and there. because they're just simply too expensive now for me to keep. Even though I know something like this is going to go up, I want to put that money into something else and then come back into this when it's gone down a little bit. So right now, really, I would say it's a pretty good opportunity too. Next question up here is from Lightning Pharaoh, and he says, do you think the M4A1S nerf turned out to be a bigger deal than we originally expected? At face value, the nerf seems meaningless, but you're already seeing people like OniPixel getting upset by the 5 pellets to kill at a longer range, when most people are starting to realize that it will push people over to the M4A4 because of its faster fire rate, and also means you can kill at a longer range quicker than the M4A1S. So I like this question, and I very much agree with you. At first, looking at the M4A1S, it really looked like they didn't do that much to it, and it didn't really feel like that much of a difference, especially by playing a deathmatch. I'd say this really affects you at those longer ranges in an actual comp game. Let's just say you're playing Mirage as a CT. If you are playing Cat or Window on an eco round, you can't afford an op, so you buy an M4, or you play something like you're on Ticket Booth looking ramp, those are the type of instances and scenarios you are going to notice that those are the most affected on. It's going to take an extra couple bullets, and it's going to be noticeable compared to when you played before when it only took 3 or 4. And yeah, I do think we're going to see, especially going into the Paris Major, more pros, which is going to cause more of the casual audience to switch over to the A4, which is pretty good. I think right now what they've done is actually relatively pretty good. They've made it so where it's cheaper, but for some people, really, unless you're hitting headshots all of the time, it's really not worth using it. And the A4 is superior technically right now, but obviously it is more expensive, when with that money you could go buy a smoke, an extra couple grenades, or even buy head armor in some scenarios. So I think some people are going to stick with the A1S. I for sure am probably going to switch to the A4, but I'm pretty excited to see where people are going to be going with this. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I do think the nerf was a little bigger than we expected and thought at first glance. Our next question up here is from Heather Comment, and he says, possible operation before the Paris Major due to a need of release of the Anubis collection. It would be weird just to have Souvenirs without a released collection. I completely agree with you, but I'm not so sure if Valve is 100% on board with what you and I want. I have a video coming out in the next probably 2 days of this one dropping where I talk about everyone this year has talked about an operation coming out, same with Source 2. I'm guilty of it as well. Pretty much every content creator has at least discussed it, speculated, done their own thing, which is fine. But I think that's now put a false narrative into viewers, casual watchers, or even casual creators that we're going to get an operation. Sure, there's a pattern that we're going to, but it's not 100% guaranteed. This tweet from Aquarius pretty much sums it up how I feel, and a lot of other people do as well. Just because Anubis is now in the active pool doesn't mean we're going to get collections from an operation as soon as possible. In 2018, Nuke and Inferno, for an example, didn't have collections, and they were added 2 days prior without any operation to the Face It Major. I think we could see the same thing here. And if there isn't an operation before the Paris Major and there is collections added, I think it'd be really weird, but I don't know if we'd get an operation anytime soon after that either. I think it might just be another year stretch possibly. But that, of course, is just speculation in my personal opinion. Valve works on Valve time. For all we know, and all the leaks and rumors from this year, they obviously are working on Counter-Strike in one way or another, if that's Source 2 or an operation. But right now, they could be working on Angry Birds mods for Half-Life 3. We don't really know. Our next question up here is from Rainbow, and he says, Ask Mando. So I've been planning on buying an Op Fade Factor New as a play skin investment, and is it a good investment? If yes, should I get a low float one or one with a high fade percentage? Thanks in advance. I got you, man. So yeah, the Op Fade, because it was so less popular the past couple of years, it stayed at a pretty cheap price and still is right now. I've seen more people pick these up recently because they are so cheap and they are such a higher tier skin, especially from an operation. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. I think it's pretty good, especially if you're willing to play the game for the next few years and this be your main op skin. It's a good play skin investment. As it goes for a high fade percentage, it's an extra couple $100 right now. Will it pay off in the long run? I think so, but that's only if it really, really blows up. And of course, when that blows up, you're willing to wait for it to sell at that high fade percentage, if that makes any sense. But right now, I would say it's pretty good and pretty solid, yes. Our next question up here is from Jacob, and he says, Ask Mando, what will happen if the next majors have Cobblestone in the active map pool? Will it crash the old Cobble packs, or maybe Cobblestone 2.0, like the fix to Mirage in 2022? Love your video. So I'm assuming you're talking about the remake of the Mirage souvenir package, like the new generation. Yeah, they would most likely do that. They would never re-release the Dragon Lore or a collection like that, in my personal opinion. It would screw over the entire CSGO scene. I would see people quitting, selling their skins, and just never coming back. Because that would pretty much make everyone feel not very safe and secure that their skins that are once very rare and hard to get would just be possibly re-released in the future. Especially the way Cobblestone was out at the time and Souvenirs packages worked. If we had Cobblestone packages coming out nowadays with an Op Dragon Lore, there would probably be 2,000 or 3,000 within the first hour. I'm not even kidding. People would go crazy over it. It would devalue the older other ones so much. So yes, I would see them probably redoing this. And it seems to be you commented this before Anubis got added. So Cobble most likely is not coming back anytime soon. I hope it does, but I sadly don't think we're going to see it probably until the release of Source 2, whenever that will be. Our second to last question up here is from Chaz, and he says, should we keep M4A4 skins or just sell it? So these the past couple of days have been going all over the place. At first they went up like crazy, and now people are starting to realize that nerf wasn't as bad as they thought, but it wasn't as good as they thought either. So people are kind of all over the place. If you had one, you were probably wanting to sell it within the first couple of days of the patch being out. At this point, if you think you're going to stay with the A1S, then just sell it, yes. But if there's a chance you think you're going to go back and forth, I would just keep it, because I think this meta is probably not going to change, at least for the next year or two. Now, our last question up here is from Tech Savvy Scientist and also Graph CSGO. Watch both you guys. Don't really comment, let alone comment on anyone's video. Kind of a laid back viewer of YouTube, especially just, you know, I'm a couch viewer, okay? But with an operation possibly and most likely coming soon, everyone's been talking about the possible drop of skins. Like Tech Savvy Scientist says here, 25% for a liquid item at the beginning of an operation is very possible. Sure, Jesus and Anomaly have a massive reach, but there's still a lot of people not watching them who will quick sell stuff. I agree with you. I do think things will fall. To agree with you and maybe meet you halfway, I would say things would maybe drop 25%, yes, maybe more than just liquid items. I think that's very possible. Maybe that will happen for not as long as we probably thought it would. Riptide, Broken Fang, we saw prices crash for 3 months, it felt like. Maybe a little longer. This time it might only be a few weeks where things start picking back up and people go to older things. It also really depends on what the new skins, what the new golds are going to be in this next operation. If they're going to be garbage skins, if the case is going to be trash, if stickers are going to be bad, people are probably not going to be that interested in this operation, so they're probably not going to sell their old stuff, at least after the first few weeks. In Graph CSGO, the reason I'm kind of combining this into one, very similar, but he kind of has the opposite view, and somewhat similar to mine. What do you think about Jesus putting out a video practically telling everyone to sell their cases now before the operation dip? I was shocked. I share the same view as you, that the dip might not be as bad as everyone expects, since we're all ready for it, but sure, he's dumping thousands of cases. So this is the weird part. You know, Jesus and really anybody is not in the wrong for saying it. It's just the huge speculation that we're getting an operation for me. I'm not 100% sold on it. There really hasn't been any talk of it recently either, like official anyway that we know, like from Gabe Faller or Aquarius, like I've talked about earlier. And I think it's very possible that since people know and how the CSGO community adapts so quickly to situations like that, I think they're probably going to adapt with operation dips, especially because we've gotten them so frequently. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are doing. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you think we're getting an operation soon? I simply just don't know. I don't have any answers. But for people who are asking me if they should buy a certain case or buy a certain skin before or after a speculated operation, if you're going to play with it for the next little while and enjoy it, and if it's a niche case, just buy in. You'll be happy with it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.